Hey all you cool people, my name is Coolanoid and welcome to May I Take Your Order. Now this game is about feeding two customers with a bit of a weird taste in food. That's all I really know because I skim read the description on itch.io, so let's just jump right in. I really love these visual novel games and this one looked quite interesting. Application for employment, okay. Alright, I've been filling out a few applications today and this is the last one. I've been applying to work at restaurants all over. It might not seem glamorous, but I want to see how different places are run. If I want to open my own restaurant someday, it's crucial to see what does and doesn't work. A friend told me I should save my top pick for last. I should really kick him for that. My hands are about to fall off. It's a pretty ritzy establishment, but comfortable. What's ritzy mean? Fancy, but not overpriced. Important clientele, but still kind and inclusive. If you can't make connections there or here, you're dead, financially speaking. And the food, remarkable. I've never heard of anyone ever having a bad meal there. I'm having a seizure trying to read this. I gotta know how they accomplish so much. So I try not to be too nervous and fill this out like it's any other application. My first name is, I'm gonna use my name. My first name is Jesse. There we go, Jesse. I fill in my address and try not to despair over my handwriting before getting to the personal section. Handwriting. Gender is, I prefer non-binary pronouns. I love how this game includes that. This is wonderful. This is my game. It's been waiting for me. Okay, and I finished filling out the form. I capped the pen and leaned back in my chair. Man, it's nice to be done. Well, except for heading outside and turning them all in. Well, except for heading outside and turning them all in one at a time. Better get to it. I read that twice. Ooh, the mood is getting on. 2 weeks later and I'm waist deep in my first Saturday shift at the restaurant. Busy, doesn't even begin to describe it. After 7 hours of the weekend rush, I'm ready to go home. Ooh. I stop off at table 6 and go through the motions. Is that me? Oh yeah, that is me. Damn. Lovely blue tie. Is that teal? Real shiny. What? You're polishing it with shoe wax? Thank you for dining with us, sir. My name is Jesse, and I'll be your server this evening. He smiles at me. Pleasure to meet you. Mix Jesse. I actually don't know how they pronounce the non-binary formal pronoun, the formal thing. I'm just gonna say mix. Sounds weird. Have you dined with us before, sir? Yes, indeed. I'm quite happy to be back. Just you this evening, sir. Shall I give him a voice? No. No, my girlfriend will be here shortly. I'll just have a cup of coffee while I wait for her. I'll go get that for you right away then. No rush. Countless families and couples have come here and gone today, but for the past hour, that one guy's been clogging up table 6. Are you doing alright, sir? He checks his watch again. Stood up guy. Yes, I missed. Took the time. She'll be here any second. He's been saying that for the past 45 minutes. I hate to tell it to you, dude. This is like an online date that you bought. Like, just casually meet up with someone random you got a number off the street. I tell him to pack up and leave, but he doesn't have the look I'd expect of someone in his position. There's anxiety, but only a little bit, and there's no disappointment. Not a shred of doubt in his eyes. He really thinks, excuse me. He looks up at me. He seems he's come to some sort of decision. Good night. But this is a restaurant with crayons, correct? We have crayons! Crayons, real messy but real fun. Yes sir, we have those for kids. Excellent. A sting of ferocity entered his eyes, one that doesn't quite pair naturally with crayons. One, please, and red if you've got it. Yeah, sure. Not about to argue with a customer, so I head to the front. It's not exactly unusual, but the guy's been sitting there for half an hour, with no phone. I'm caught between pity and irritation and hope for the umpteenth time that he has enough empathy to tip well on the single cup of coffee he's been nursing. There's a small tin with several crayons. We try to keep fresh ones ready. I grab a red crayon, because that's the one he wanted / ordered. I snatch up a red crayon. No sense being mean to him. He may be weird, but he's probably having a bad night too. I bring the crayon back over to him and hand it over. Thank you, Mix Jessie. It's no big deal. Hey, are you okay? I saw you didn't have a cell phone, but we could call your girlfriend down. No warning, no nothing. Knocks everything off the table and climbs right on. What, sir? Please get down. Oh! His deft hand scrolls a wide circle, then another, then sections off the area, slicing as though the crayon were not. Is that a fucking pentagram? What are you doing?
What are you doing, step bro?
He fills it with symbols. They almost look like zodiac signs. Almost soon. I don't really want to read this because I don't want to summon a demon. Who are you? Humani ame nihi alien puta. That doesn't really sound like much. Look, it's like I stood up too fast. There's a rush to my head. There's a pressure like my ears are going to pop. Oh, no. Oh, that's fucking cool. I like the color overlay that's going on. Ah, the table rips and there's a spray of sweet smelling fluid. I leap away from the table as something bursts out. Oh, Jesus. Hello. I didn't realize this was a hentai visual novel. What? Okay. Right. My fears were fulfilled. Spike. Appendages are flailing all over, slapping and snaking their way over the windows and doors. They're fleshy, but soft, too soft, and they mush and disfigure as they slam against everything in sight. One smacks the hat off another diner, who continues to eat her meal, unfazed. Nobody's screaming, and nobody notices me on the ground, arms raised to protect my face and throat too tight to scream again. I think you're in some sort of alien realm that's like, you know, in the same room but in a different dimension that's still in the same room. Universe theory? I don't know. But that's okay. The thing is screaming enough for the entire restaurant. It's letting out a dual-tone screech, high and low, but I can't discern one throat, let alone two. Crayon thrown to the floor, the stood-up guy and worst diner ever starts to call out at it. Sweetie! You've changed his name a few too many times here. For goodness sake, put your body on. We're in a nice restaurant. It screeches and roars back at him. I know, but... He waves a bundle of cloth at it. I brought you some clothing, and it's super comfy. Slurps up the bundle of fabric, and the creature bubbles and draws back in on itself, twisting until I emerge. Wait, I emerge. You're here. You had me worried, so I figured I'd break the barrier down a bit. Talipora, you have no idea how good it is to see you. When he says that word, my ears finally pop and my teeth grit. It's a bad word. It's not a curse word per se, not so much a word you wouldn't say in front of your boss. It feels like the wrong answer in a classroom or something, or meeting. The moment when everyone turns and looks at you and you just want to sink through the floor. Anxiety. I just want to sink through the floor. I want to very quietly go get my coat and change my name and move to whatever town is on the exact opposite point on the globe from where I'm currently standing. You informed me that the barrier was too frail in this portion of your world. That doesn't really work for my voice. I will hold you responsible for the trouble. He's beaming at the thing that came out of the hole, but I can't look at it. It hurts to roll my eyeballs towards it like I'm dehydrated. Yeah. When I close my eyes, the dark behind my eyelids is so cool and so soft, huh? There are tears running down my cheeks. I hadn't noticed. The guy, Hendrik, beams and gestures towards the gaggle of eyes and puffy wool. Yeah. This is my girlfriend, Talipora. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right. Imprudent! Imprudent microbe. I may choose to craft for myself the form of a creator, birthing one, but I am capable of far greater creations than your prepubescent females. Okay. Far more erroneously. I can't keep this voice up. Your inflated ego thinks I would deign to refer to you as any form of companion. Her words wash over him like a gentle breeze. It looks like she could rip his face off, but her roars just make his eyes brim with joy. We've been dating for about 400 years now. Okay, so it's serious. And though the long distance thing is an incy bit of an annoyance, we make it work. The moment I finally devise an effective method of accomplishing your demise, I'll rip your soul from your ever-regenerating body and chew it to a gruel. He sits down at the all-but-destroyed table and picks up his menu. But until that day, beautiful day, when I can be you forever, you're going to need to eat something else. Teleporia stops. She looks at me and bounces between eyes, trying to make contact with one that doesn't stare down into my deepest inadequacies. There is human fuel here? I nod. Her mouth breaks open into a smile. Excellent! You are spared for punishment, Hendrik, if only for the moment. She sits down, but not on a chair. Dozens of her tentacles are still present throughout the entire room, spikes driven deep into their surfaces. Dozens of her temples are still present throughout the tentacles, not her temples, are still present throughout the entire room. Spikes driven deep into the surfaces, blocking all the exits. She settles into one of the squishy appendages, looking pleased. So then maybe we should order an appetizer. It's not that I can't believe that this is happening. I have an open mind. But as far as sudden supernatural shifts in my life, I was really hoping for a wizard school. You're a wizard, Harry. You're a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Or just a plain old haunting. Some ghosts are pretty cool, right? At least with a zombie or something, I'd know the rules here. What are the rules for this thing? Do I throw rice on the ground to her? Will she attack me if I touch her with iron? I'd listen to my gut, but I can't make out anything but general foreboding. Demon. You summon demons, so that fits. But I don't know, something doesn't seem quite right about that. Maybe she's, excuse me? Oh, I can barely think, but I can at least fall back on one set of rules. I struggle to set out the rote reply. Would you like to start off with soup or salad tonight? I don't know why I went into like a drunk voice. The man grins and gives an eager nod. Could I please get the blue cheese salad for my sweetie? Talipora rolls her eyes and her teeth flash as she cuts in. Hendrik! I've been on enough of these sham dates to know that ordering for your companion is rude. His face falls. I suddenly started doing a narrator voice. Okay, but it's been ages since you've eaten any food. You're chewing on the fork right now. She gives him a glare. And slowly places the slightly bent cutlery back on the table. Fine. But before he could say another word, she makes her move. I don't want your advice, though. I want the young man to choose for me. Sounds a little bit sinister. Oh no, he sighs annoyed, but he checks himself before looking at me. I think he knows that she's putting me on the spot. I can appreciate that he's trying to look out for me. I mean, I'd appreciate it more if we could have not summoned some kind of eldritch thing during an already busy Saturday shift. Or at all. I ease my throat open enough to speak out. Let's save here. Who is messaging me? Claudia, stop. Tomato biscuit? No, I don't even know what the biscuit is. I'm not pronouncing that correctly, am I? Caesar salad. We're a snake now. Lamb but it's appetizer, so I'm gonna recommend the Caesar salad. But maybe you want more meat. Let's go with lamb chili, because you are a demon. Meat sometimes seems to be the demon's choice, and they eat lamb, right? This doesn't seem to mean much of anything to her. Great. And what would you like for your entree? She slams a fist down on the table. My stomach lurches. First, bring me my matter. This physical form requires fuel to sustain itself. I turn on my heel and fly out of there, an excuse to leave. If there are any kindly extra-dimensional beings looking down on me right now, I would like to take this opportunity to thank them. I rush into the kitchen. I bet you there's got to be demons in the kitchen. Back in the kitchens, everyone's still bustling out, other servers calling in their orders. The ambitious cooks are working. The slightly less ambitious cooks are cracking jokes with each other. They're also oblivious as the customers out in front. I can see my managers discussing some menu changes with the head chef. Hey, does anyone else see what's going on out there? But nobody turns to look at me. Hey, I'm serious. What the hell is going on? Are they ignoring me? Do you expect me to just come back here and bring in this order like nothing's wrong? I take a sarcastic tone. Yeah, we got a blue cheese and chili for table 6. Just another usual night, right? Without warning, a tray with the order is put down on the counter next to me. Oh, okay. But other than that, there's no hint of a glance, no guilty looks. Hey! Nobody even flinches. Fine. Looks like I'm on my own. Hendrik! And did I tell you how lovely your eyes are this evening? God, that's a bit cliche. From your over-effusive sewer pipe or compliment springs something worthwhile. I don't even know what I just read. I made most of them myself, but the eye in the center of my head was my reference object. I couldn't even tell the difference. Your anatomy has gotten so much better since the last decade. It is easier when I have a fresh supply of study materials, so I suppose I can remain here long enough to consume some matter. Let no sentient being claim that I do not repay my debts. Debts. Yes. Well, that's just one of the perks of the job. Teachers can bring home knowledge. Cooks can bring home food. And surgeons can bring spare body parts back to their girlfriends. I can say with relative certainty that isn't how it works. If I ever find out this man's last name, I'm never going to his hospital. I serve Taliporia, a chili, trying not to get too close. Please be careful, it's very hot. Remember, sweetie, that too much heat can injure. Silence, meat garden. Meat garden? Like, is he just growing for you? I know what to do with volatile heat sources. She flings the scalding liquid across the table and hits Hedrick square in the chest. Jeez. He rushes out to the bathroom, face red from pain. We don't serve our soups at a heat that could do permanent damage, but that still has to hurt. She closes most of her eyes and inhales a deep breath, satisfied. When she speaks again, her rough voice has a tranquil tone. Clean it up, human. This is an establishment with standards, isn't it? This is an establishment with standards, isn't it? Is it not? Can't read. Well, it was, I mutter. The elegant charm might be a little altered by the sudden presence of giant tentacles. She snuggles down into her seat. This is a gift for your owners. This is a sliver of my true form. Well, it's lovely. Sorry that you didn't like the chili. Apology unnecessary, human. I enjoyed that immensely. She sniffs the air. And it smells nice as well. She dabs a little of the meat on her neck. This body has concentrated blood flow around the throat and wrist. This pulse points heat and disperse stray molecules of matter, allowing humans to perceive them with their noses. She seems quite pleased with this luxury. She wraps the scarf around herself. Now that I think about it, the clothing Hendrik brought is all very heavy. A maxi skirt, a thick sweater, and a blanket scarf. Jeez. I think he's trying to just cover up form. The way you're clutching that scarf, are you cold? You may not have my scarf. It retains my heat. I will continue to generate and retain heat, and it will still belong to me, not you. I take a step back. No, that's all your heat, fair and square, she growls. She growls happily. Yee! All mine. Hendrik will be procuring more matter this evening, which will come to power this form. Physical exertion is a luxury. The calorie energy necessary to move but a digit. She lifts one of her own claws. It's precious. I've gone for thousands of years lying in wait for foolish summoners to tear open rifts and let in the good heat from your world. Well, why don't you just go to the sun? Or go sunbathe or something. Like, you get a lot of sun there. Heat. Talipoma leans down on the table, the edges of the scarf trail into her chili. Or at least, what's left of it. Is it selfish to be happy that she's disarmed now? I look at the still present tentacles and recalculate that statement. She's at least cannot harm me with soup, and that's something. So, human, do you enjoy generating your own heat? I don't really know how to answer that question. It's good, I'd rather just turn on the heater though. It's not great. Have you ever gotten sweaty? I like it. Physical activity is fun. Do I go truthfully or truthfully? I don't know, untruthfully and truthfully. I don't do a lot of physical activity. I'm a gamer. Cold War, Minecraft. Not tentacles. Have you ever gotten sweaty? Yeah. It's heading into summer for Australia at the moment, so I fan my collar a little. I could really use a cold drink now. She gives a quizzle. Look, are you implying that at times you generate too much heat? I nod. In the summer, yes, summer right now for me. When the sun gets closer to Earth, everything gets hot and gross. Humans can get so warm they die. Her eyes open wide, both of them, all of them. Do you catch fire and burn? No, it's not like getting burned. It's just too much heat for the whole system, I think. And you cannot simply uncover yourselves and release the heat into the vacuum of space. Shake my head. No, ma'am. The vacuum of space is too far away, and in the summer we're surrounded by too much heat. Your creator failed to take the seasons into account. Tell it to mind that on the next draft. I assure her that I will, and out of the corner of my eye I see Hendrik returning. And Hendrik returns, getting along well as might be expected. Still, thank you for keeping her company. We'll eat our appetizers, and she shakes her head. I'm finished with mine. He laughs. Of course, how could I forget? So then, would you like to move on to the main course now? Gosh, read. The next part of the meal. Ah, yes, with the larger portions. Hendrik points to her menu. So, what were you thinking about? I always like steak, but I admit that I was kind of thinking about splurging on the, hey, human Jessie. I snap to attention. Yes, ma'am. Choose. Do it promptly and wisely, or else I will need to consume something else for my main course. She's staring me right in the eyes, and her gaze lingers on my mouth. Okay, she stares at my teeth and licks her lip. Jesus, okay, you wanna eat my teeth? Could she eat my teeth? Well, I think you would enjoy. We have beautiful porterhouse steak. We have live lobster. I recommend the squid ink pasta. It's a little bit too close to her tentacly parts, so we have live lobster here. Hendrik gives a bit of a nod. That's my order too. It's been a while, but this is a special night. What? At what point did humans discover the joy of consuming live creatures? Wait, she doesn't think I'll serve it to her while it's still. No, sweetie, I'm afraid that most of us are still a touch prudish about that sort of thing. But they have a tank here so the lobster is fresh. Nothing is as fresh as squeezing the life from a creature with your jaws. Well, we can't exactly do that with a shelled creature. Or any, really. Feeling it writhe and struggle in a fruitless attempt to stave off the icy curtain of death. She's looking straight at my throat. 2 lobster dinners coming right up. Excuse me. I rush away as quickly as I can. I try to convince the chef to serve me 1 lobster live. I feel downright ghoulish, but between me and a crustacean, I'm going to defend myself every time. But her reaction is the same as the last time. She prepares the dishes as usual and hands them off to me, never making eye contact or reacting to anything I say. What is this? She lifts out the extra utensil. It's a lobster cracker. Use that to crack open the shell. It's a fair idea, but it's such a waste, Jessie. To use this on a deceased creature. Well, if food is dead, isn't it easier to consume? She waves a claw at me. Not if you have to crack it open anyway. Hendrik is already digging the meat out of his. I like it. It's soon to have a little tactile activity as part of your meal. Yeah, it's kind of exciting for someone who needs to focus on something but can't focus on other things. Talipora's claws slip on the lobster cracker. Meat shield. How are you employing your tool? Well, you put either end of the metal bit over, raise it up and demonstrate. He holds the lobster cracker and one leg up, leaning forward so they're close enough for her to get a good look. She holds up her arm. What? She holds hers up. English. It's supposed to be my first language. Oh, my second. I forgot. Pantomiming his actions. Then promptly grabbing one of his hands, wrapping the cracker around his pointer finger and gripping it tightly. Oh. His finger just juts out and at an odd angle, and blood drips onto the torn tablecloth. She cackles and throws the metal tool at his head. Fool! I can easily employ such a simple item. Ha! He's leaning away from his injured hand, the other on his face. Right you are. You got me. He sure does look embarrassed. It's really hard to tell through the pain. Just look at his fucking cheeks. I mean, that is an expression of pain on his face, right? I guess she got him, unless he's enjoying this somehow. He breathes heavily, trying to get himself under control. As though to prove a point, he goes right back to eating dinner, as though nothing were wrong. So before I go, is everything to your liking? Is the food powering your true form enough? Silly Jessie, where in my true form, I do not consume human fuel, This human template, my what did you call it? Hendrix caught mid-bite. He covers his mouth to respond. A human sonar. Okay. My human sonar, like persona? It consumes calories, inhales oxygen, excretes feces, all the same as yourself, I assume. I never expected to have a restaurant patient ask if I breathe and poo, but here we are. But my true form requires something much more deeply sustaining. She stares me down. She looks at my teeth again. She looks me in the eye. She holds that eye contact and waits. I try not to squirm, but my moxie is inadequate for this situation. She waits and then laughs. I can breathe again. Delicious. A light dusting of fear, nothing too overwhelming. If that doesn't strike her as much as fear, please let me never ever learn what does. So you eat fear then? It falls under my purview. Suffering? Sweetie, true form eats concepts. And she builds her humasonas. I'm just gonna say that. She is to have quite the taste for them too. Any form of important information can sustain her. Stop. But she's picky. I am not. Suffering is the only thing worth eating. Eating anything else would be beneath me. It's okay. Whatever you want. I love you just the way you are. And I would like you much better with several more stab wounds to the head. Anytime, sweetie. Though I imagine... Though I managed to sneak away from the next 15 minutes, I know that I'll eventually have to return. I try to strike up a conversation with the line cooks again. So how do you guys feel about the recent tentacle invasion? Of course, nobody responds. Yeah, it's hard to really put into words, right? No response. Dishes click. I guess the spooky atmosphere has certain charm, but I don't think I'll catch on with the baby boomers. Conventional wisdom says that they like elegance or rustic charm. And my Midwestern mums are not into dripping fluids. Oh, God. I mean, as a general soup, I don't want to assume individual taste. This gets boring quickly, so after the appropriate waiting period, I head back over. So thank you for dining us with us tonight. No dessert? I did it. I made it through the evening. I'm tempted to not even give them a check, to just rush them out the door, but I refuse to slip up now. It's been a delight getting to know the both of you. How kind of you! You know I was planning on heading out, but you know what? I couldn't care less if I attempted, and I am very powerful. I'm capable of caring far less than most humans could in their most apathetic dreams. Let's do dessert. Oh shit. I look from his smiling face to Teplora's cruel one. I know how this goes. Let's make a recommendation. I recommend our chocolate torte. That's not pronounced correctly, is it? For the delightful couple. Do you feel like drinking? I sure do after dinner brandy. Fuck it, caution to the wind. Banana Foster flambe. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Is my professionalism slipping? Must be. What are we in print? What are we impregnating? Sweetie, it's a figure of speech. I don't have that function this time around. Sweetie, I think they're just tired. That's okay. I think if I want this to be a truly satisfying night for our esteemed void goddess, then she's going to enjoy this dessert, or at least how we cook it. What is this blathering about? But I can tell I've got her hooked. We cook it tableside with a huge flame, and there it is. I'm not so sure about this. Looks like he's picked up on the pattern too. Oh, I insist. I don't even need to write this one down. One flaming dessert for table 6. I scramble about the kitchen, grabbing everything I need. Am I cleared to do this? Hell no. 2 weeks is not enough to have permission to set things on fire next to diners. Well, maybe a candle. But tonight's special, isn't it? I wheel the cart over, feeling a bit chatty. I take my time prepping to light it on fire. So congrats on getting out of, what did you call it? The cold place, the void. Void? God, what's it like in there? Dark, cold, mostly barren. Why am I so locked for something approaching on eternity with nothing but your own thoughts? Unless one can become creative. I do my best to make creatures to fill it, but it has a vast expanse, literally endless big, but with nothing in it. Yeah, I caught part of your conversation before. You made your body, right? Indeed. When rifts become open, I'm able to seize not only heat, but stray matter. I model the majority of my creatures after your carbon-based life forms, with a few alterations. But modifications must be made, yep. I'll bet if the void doesn't have heat or any of its own matter, you'd need to make creatures that don't eat or breathe, right? Good human. I modeled most of them after myself. And you eat concepts, yes. After billions and billions of years, I've evolved over a million species of void creature. Well, it's pretty good. Almost the same amount as Earth species or animals, the amount of creatures there are here on Earth. God, English. Nearly all of them feed as I do on the concept of suffering, so it's an endless barren place with no light, no heat, where the only things that exist just go around preying on each other's suffering all the time. Yes, is it not marvelous? And someday, human Jesse, there will be a rift large enough that it is not tiny scraps and stray humans which fall through, but your entire plane of existence. You will enjoy it. That was fucking long. Okay, wouldn't I hate it? I got distracted there for a bit, but I grabbed the rum. Can't caramelize it right without a pretty flame. I mean, I don't enjoy suffering. You'd be surprised what humans can get used to. I used the wrong English word. A closer translation might be resignation. You would become resigned to an existence saturated with pain. Enjoy isn't the correct term, unless you're a disgusting cluster of miswired brain signals. Love you too, sweetie. Ugh. I know what you're doing, Hendrik. You think if you can keep delaying me with fancy dinners, stolen body part, gentle words, and rough sex... Oh, jeez. Could we not talk about our sex life in public? Thank you. She places a hand on his arm. That you can stop me. You are, as always, disgusting, but an appealing opponent. Look out. And I light it up. The flame shines in her eyes, and I can feel the heat coming off it. I should probably be keeping a close eye on it to make sure it's cooking properly. But looking over at Hendrik and Tapora, they're holding hands. Lovely, so simply and happy. She's gripping his hand tightly from joy, and then she jerks him across the table. Jesus, straight into the flaming cart. Now that burn, that could cause permanent damage. Though you may be lucky that that's the worst that happened to him tonight. He executes a perfect stop, drop, and roll. Soon the flames are out. Jeez, he's two-faced now. Let's flip a coin. And we definitely want you to leave still, though. Ish. Though he's far from unscathed. Human, this was a fantastic dinner. Bring us the statement so that we might repay you for your noble worship and gifts. I salute and wheel what remains of the upturned cart away. It's not long before I return with the bill in hand. He takes the check. He seems to do a bit of calculation in his head, then lays down some cash. Well, this evening wasn't a complete waste of time and effort. Organ ravioli. Hendrik looks up at her. You may have one short, friendly embrace. He jumps to his feet, arms wide open to hug her, and one of his tentacles slams into him, throwing his body across the room. He slams into the wall and drags her into the ground. Hug transaction complete. Oh no, did you just kill him? She heaves a sigh. Would I were so lucky. If I were so lucky, No, human, I have merely rendered him unconscious. That's good. Via severe cranial hemorrhaging. That's bad! He'll sleep it off. I ripped off his limbs before he can take it. She looks almost fond. She gets up, walks over to him, and grabs him by the foot. I suppose it's time to return him to his residence. She perks up. Or I can abandon his body in a trash unit. Perhaps nobody will find him and he will be placed inside a trash compactor. As she turns to drag him away, I ask, Miss Talipora. She turns quizzical. Human, I am departing. You made it through this evening unscathed. You have little to no ability to comprehend how fortunate that makes you, but I suggest you make an attempt. I clear my throat. I think I'm trapped. I gesture around the restaurant. Oh, yes! I had forgotten. Your world usually has even more light, does it not? She shrugs. Well, I had no hand in this, and with that she waves aside a tentacle and marches through the front door. Hendrik's head thuds against the ground as she walks down the staircase and out of sight. When I hear the front door close, another server bumps me into the shoulder, stepping past. They give me a dirty look and keep heading their way. Just like that, I'm back. I keep moving, clearing the table, scooping up the check. I check the tip, 40%. It might not cover emotional distress, but it'll cap off the shift well. This was quite the experience, but for my own safety, I think I'm going to skip the 2 weeks notice. I came here to learn something new, and I'd say that goal was more than accomplished. Yeah, I think so too. Ending 4, a hug goodbye. Yeah, so I think there's 4 or 5 endings to this game, and yeah, when I was looking to the the Itchio, so this, like, the art style and the tentacle thing, like, really caught my eye. Not that I'm, anyway, but the whole, may I take your order, and 2 weird people you're serving, like, I thought that might lead to a bit of a funny story, and I was certainly entertained. I hope you guys were as well. Props to the developers. I should probably read up on who this was again. Yeah, the author of this game was Alexis Royce. Not sure, male, female, non-binary. But great job on the game, and whoever else, if there was anyone else. But I'm gonna leave the video here. If you guys liked the video, and please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see all you cool people in the next video. Bye-bye.